What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty Loot Gaming, the show where we talk about gaming news. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
And quick reminder, we're in a new month. We're in a new year. Happy New Year, guys. And with that, new PlayStation Plus games that are, This War of Mine and Day of the Tentacle. Day of the Tentacle, if you don't know, is a old school adventure game, hand-drawn, very much in the vein of like Monkey Island and Grim Fandango. And then This War of Mine is a 2D perspective survival game where you have to find resources and pretty much save people's lives in a war zone. So make sure to play those. Come back at the end of the month for Plus Club, and we'll talk about those games, and you can let us know your opinions on them as well. Also, I want to say welcome to any of our new subscribers we just received over the holiday weekend. Hope you guys stick around and enjoy our content. We appreciate you guys even checking out our video. But yeah, with that, let's get into the news. Our first bit of news, with the tragic recent passing of actor Carrie Fisher, Elite Dangerous developers are creating an outpost in release 2.3. They'll be called Fisher's Rest. This is in honor of her passing, and kind of neat because the community actually asked for this on Twitter, and they recognize this as it's a horrible thing that happened, and they want to essentially immortalize her even further than she already is in their game. What do you guys think of this tribute to one of the great female actors?
I think it's neat, and I think it's also very fitting since it's a space game. It's very reminiscent of when they put Robin Williams in World of Warcraft after he passed.
What happened there?
They made a genie.
Oh, really?
After him. Yeah. I love stuff like this. Obviously, I don't love when people pass, but
Absolutely.
I love that the game developers are essentially finding a way to almost immortalize them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, that's the thing, is these games last, for years, especially MMOs. Games like Elite Dangerous, there's a community of people who play these games. And, I mean, you really don't have to immortalize Carrie Fisher, Robin Williams, because they're so well known and legendary people. But it's just cool to go even further and just within that community just make something to be a tribute to them. It's really cool. I love when developers do stuff like this. It just shows a lot of character from them. And a game like this, it makes so much sense because, I mean, Star Wars is so big. It's one of the biggest properties ever. And Carrie Fisher was very important to a lot of people. And this is a sci-fi game. I mean, it's just so fitting, and it's so bittersweet, I guess. To obviously, it's awful she's gone, but it's great that she can be immortalized in this game. I also heard that the Old Republic, Star Wars: The Old Republic, people were also asking to build a statue of her in the game, but they are going to have issues with that just because the game's based thousands of years before Princess Leia would be in the game.
right.
But yeah, Chris.
I think it's great. I mean, like we said before, we've seen this in multiple games. Even Overwatch has a couple in there. One of the guys who was like really big into Overwatch died before it was released, I think, and they just immortalized him in one of the spacesuits. Has his name in Chinese or something across his chest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's really
just
cool.
for him. But yeah, I think it's great. It's kind of playing devil's advocate here. It's kind of weird at the same time to include people from outside of the game's universe into the game, but I think it's awesome. I do personally think it's great.
Well, even something as simple as like Fisher's Rest. You get the point, you read it, but it also doesn't mess with the lore of the game. And
Right.
It's pretty straightforward.
Right.
But yeah, above all, it's just really cool to see the communities come together and kind of just celebrate the life of people who are really important. And rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. You'll be missed dearly by everyone, really.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, second bit of news.
So, Ariana Grande is going to be a character in the Final Fantasy mobile game, Brave Exvius. I don't know a whole lot on this other than it's based off her costume from
Dangerous Woman.
Dangerous Woman. And essentially she looks like I've forgotten.
Avira.
Vera, yeah. I mean, what do you guys think about the cross promotion there? Essentially,
I got two things with this. First off, it makes complete sense. It's a free-to-play game, so there's no investment involved to getting into it. Obviously, you can pay money if you keep playing it, But this also branches out the demographic of people who are playing the game. I mean, fans of Ariana Grande might not be playing this game, might not even know it exists, but now they know, someone they really like is in this game. They might check it out.
Right.
So it makes complete sense. For me personally, and again, anyone who is into this or thinks it's awesome, that's cool. No shit talk there. But for me, this kind of thing kind of takes me out of it. The idea of having someone who exists in real life like that in a game for commercial purposes just kind of reminds me that this world and all this stuff is just it's just a game. Obviously, I mean everyone knows that, but it just takes me out of it. So it's kind of hard for me to get excited for stuff like this. But I mean it's cool for fans of Ariana Grande.
It's interesting, I think, because we've seen this before with Final Fantasy. It's not something new. Gokt is in several Final Fantasy games.
Gokt.
Although he's not directly referenced as himself in the game,
Yeah.
the character models are based after him as well as their costumes. And I think if they
good
had
point.
done that with her, it might have been a little easier for people to like, I think. I mean, I'm not saying anything against it, and I don't know. I haven't played it myself, so I can't say if I like it or not. But I agree that it kind of takes you out of the aspect of the game that it's, oh, this isn't real, it's just a game, but here's someone from the real world.
Good.
Well, I was going to say, the only argument I have against that, because I kind of kicked the game on real quick before it recorded to kind of refresh what that game was. The game's full of fan service anyways, so it doesn't really have its own, backbone.
Well, it's a mobile game, too. It's free to play.
Yeah.
But
I say you literally hire people from every Final Fantasy into it, so... as far as, them adding a character and likeness of her, I mean, or even the aspect of bringing stuff from the real world and putting it in the game. Final Fantasy 15 does it like crazy. Coleman is referenced multiple times. Cup of Noodle, which quest line.
And I'm not a fan of that either.
Well, I'm not either. I'm just saying.
That makes me think: is Final Fantasy 15 based in this universe, on this planet? Is that
a weird one,
Coleman?
for sure.
It's not a huge problem. It doesn't make me go, "Oh, this game sucks." But it's definitely something that when I see that, I'm more like, I'm not playing Final Fantasy 15 anymore. I'm like, haha, look at that. There's cup of noodles there.
Yeah. If you when you get to the quest that's based around it, you'll really have something to say about it.
With what you said though, you actually mentioned someone I like in a video game, and for a split second there, I was like, that's cool though. Gokt's in it. I like him. But then for a split second, I'm like, but when I see him in that game, I'm still like, oh, it's Gokt.
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh, that's what was his name? Genesis or no?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, Genesis.
I'm not like, oh, that's him. I'm like, that's based off Gokt, right? That guy's a Japanese pop singer. You guys know he's actually in a couple movies. Moonchild, I have that. He's in a bunch of stuff. That, and it's just. It's fun fan service for sure, but at the same time, for me personally, it doesn't strengthen the game at all for me.
I agree with that. It's definitely a marketing thing.
Is the game cool? I don't know anything about it.
It's a mobile game.
Yeah.
They just could have done it more subtly, I think. I mean, if does it say it's her name?
No.
Okay. Well,
When I looked at this little sprite, and if I looked at that, I wouldn't have been able to tell it was her.
okay.
It's a character based off of her.
Well then, I kind of like that aspect of it. I do. I like having little guest appearances here and there. The fact that it's a real person, I think, doesn't super deter from it because they didn't state it's just Ariana Grande in the game. It's just based off of her. It's like when they added Cloud to Final Fantasy Tactics. It's a nice little huh.
Yeah.
That's an Easter egg you gotta dig for, though.
Kind of.
I just keep thinking because I'm not too familiar with Ariana Grande. I know of her, of course, but I'm thinking if Kanye West was in the game,
No.
or
She's
Mariah Carey because she's all of her cringe videos lately. If one of those two people were in there, someone really big, Kim Kardashian or something like that, was in this game, I'd be like, so is it just personal preference or is it just celebrity? It all just kind of across the board just kind of takes me out of it, I guess. I don't know. But again, like I said, with the Sprite, you can't really tell, so it's not that big a deal.
I think it's less blatant than they themselves have even done. So,
okay.
Yeah. All right, for our third bit of news. BioWare has come out and said that Mass Effect Andromeda is not planned for the Nintendo Switch. like I said, they have no plans for this to come out for the Switch, but they did say that if the Switch comes out and a bunch of people are just really just wanting this, they'll think about it. Not much more to it than that. What do you guys think about this?
I'm not super surprised after seeing videos of the game. Even though the Switch is going to be, as far as we know, comparable in for modern day games. Mass Effect is they're definitely trying to push with that game. I mean, one of their big sales points is 4K, PS4 Pro, Scorpio, PC, that kind of thing. They really want you to know that this game's going to look amazing. So it makes sense that, because even though the Switch will be, at that point, it's not a 4K system, as far as we know, and the rumors of people having been getting their hands on it and stuff, it does have some minor performance issues when it is undocked and stuff. So,
yeah. With this, two things again, because my brain goes everywhere. First off, Andromeda was in production before the Switch was really announced. Ow. So, I just bit on my lozenge. It was in development before the game was even, before the console was even announced. So I feel like they already had what they were working on in mind, and they don't want to take a step back and start working on a whole other version for this console, which makes complete sense. And then also, it's just kind of a bummer to me because I'm actually really interested in the Switch. I think it looks great. I'm going to be picking it up probably day one. But this is just more of Nintendo, just not making a console that is up to par with the other consoles. And again, it's suffering from it. I mean, it already has a great lineup, it looks like, of games, which is awesome. Way better than what the Wii U offered at first. But the third party is always Nintendo's weakness, always. And this just is business as usual. It's the same. It's them going, Nintendo just we don't really want to make it for Nintendo console because we don't know what we're gonna have to program, what kind of gimmicks that console's gonna have. Things we'll have to change for it, down-resing it, stuff like that. But with that said, I would like to see them, after the game releases, make a version for the Switch. Just because there are people that are primarily just Nintendo fans and they're by the Switch. And it'd be great for them to be able to experience a AAA game that's on high-end consoles on a Nintendo product. I think Nintendo fans deserve that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'd love to see him tackle it at a later date as well, but as far as current production goes, it makes complete sense that to be off the radar. But a lot of companies that do that, even with the PC versus console market, they'll make something on one and it won't come out on the other. Specifically talking about Grand Theft Auto, comes out on console and then it seems like forever later finally get a PC release. So.
And that's what I'm saying. If there's a wait, but they still do it, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Chris.
I don't know. Like you said, Nintendo and their third-party stuff has never been very good.
Right.
And it's always a lower quality version of the original, and so there's never really any need or want on my end to get it on their console ever. I just buy the games that they make for their consoles because that seems to be the only thing that works up to par on their consoles. So,
and they always work great.
Yeah, they always work great because they've had all their hands into it and stuff like that. And I just don't think it would be any good on a Switch since it's third party.
I think you hit on a really good thing there too, saying that what's the preference? What are you gonna buy it for? Even if it did come out for all three, what are you probably gonna buy it for? I'm definitely gonna either buy it for PS4 or PC.
I'm probably gonna buy it on PC because that's where I've played every other one of them.
Well, and I don't have a save file on PS4 anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Unless the save doesn't matter, then it won't.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Because
it's a whole new yeah. Regardless though,
it won't matter.
If I was gonna, I will play it. But when I do play it, it will be on PS4 or PC for sure.
Oh yeah.
Those two are gonna probably get the biggest and most full experience of the game that it can offer. Yeah. And if it was on the Switch, I probably wouldn't buy it for it. So that's a really good point.
Yeah. No, it's funny you bring up the AAA games working just fine. And not to make this a Nintendo discussion, but they really need to make more just first-party developers, companies or something. So.
Yeah, they should definitely make more. I mean, Sony's got a shitload. Yeah. Even Xbox. I mean, they have plenty, but Sony has so many.
This year, we're going to see a lot of Xbox stuff, which I'm happy about. So.
Yeah, but you have an Xbox One. You get the benefit from
Play.
Xbox One essentially starting now.
Was it Sea of Thieves and Scalebound?
Scalebound.
I totally want to play Scalebound.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it won't hurt to release it for Switch if they can manage it. And like I said already too, if you're primarily a Nintendo fan, I mean, you deserve to be able to play games like everybody else that's third-party games. So hopefully they can make it work. That's been news.
So, looks like Windows 10 is going to be receiving a game mode in an upcoming update. I believe this was data mined.
Yeah.
And
it hasn't been confirmed by
right.
Microsoft yet, but it's pretty much going to happen.
Yeah, and the whole idea here is when you start up a game, all the system resources will go into the game and put everything else kind of in a standby mode. However, they don't know, because obviously no confirmation yet, if this is going to be a Windows 10 Store thing only, or if it's actually going to work no matter what game platform you choose to play your games on PC. What do you guys think about Windows finally starting to acknowledge the PC community for gaming?
If it's, I didn't even think about that until you said it, and now I'm just like, that's exactly what it's going to be for. If it's just for the store games, which makes complete sense, because that's going to be like, you want better performance, your computer's kind of okay, you can play all these games on the Windows Store with better performance. You don't even need a high-end computer, but nobody wants to buy from there. So, and that just screams Microsoft. They're so into just their own stuff.
Proprietary.
Don't use other people's stuff. Use our stuff. And trying to force you to upgrade to Windows 10 and
which they finally admitted was wrong.
Gonna keep you online with the Xbox. They fixed that, of course, too, but they're so restrictive in everything they've done, and they have a track record for years of doing this. So if that is the case, which I think it's gonna be now that you said it, that'll suck. If it's not, if it's for everything, that's innovation. That's cool. I heard that the Xbox One does something similar to it already. It kind of has to because it's not as powerful as the PS4. But yeah, that's awesome. I mean, we're all kind of heading towards eventually streaming games anyway. So, getting more bang for your buck in performance is positive. There's nothing negative about that unless it's restrictive.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's probably just going to be in only games in the Microsoft Store. I wouldn't be surprised if they tacked on a little surcharge fee to get it, just because it's like, oh, this is optimizing your computer for gaming. So here's buy it for $3. I don't necessarily like the idea of them running my computer while playing a game. Like, I have other things going in the background, so I expect sometimes some performance issues, but that's by my own choice. Mm. And I don't want you going in there and telling my computer, well, don't run this, run this, just this, only my stuff, fuck everything else. I don't know, something about that I just don't like the idea of.
And wonder if there'll be some things that kind of just don't work together on that, or I don't know. It's hard to tell this early on.
Just giving more and more permission to other people to run my computer does not sound appealing to me.
Microsoft already has been doing for a long time. And Windows 10 keeps track of what you download and all that stuff. I mean, everyone knows that. Constantly spies on you. So just more control over your computer.
Mm-hmm. No thanks.
Besides that negative note,
yeah.
If it does work if it just detects when you're playing a game or something, then yeah, it's a positive.
Sure.
I mean, especially if you're just using your PC for gaming anyways, that's just more, like you said, bang for your buck. But as far as for me, I still use Windows 7, so.
Yep. My computer's awesome, so it plays everything anyway. But this isn't about me. This is about people who have just a pre-built computer that they bought and they want to play they don't want to think about upgrading their computer or doing special things to it, and they just want to play a game. Yeah. Very much like a console. It sounds like they're doing that.
Well, and I'm not so much worried about the charge thing because it's supposed to be a Windows update that adds it.
And also it's an incentive for you to buy from them. So in a way, they're making money they weren't going to make in the first place. They can have maybe 20 people playing Call of Duty Infinite Warfare on their servers as opposed to one.
I'm definitely more concerned about the aspect of it being exclusive to the Windows 10 store games. So I think that's just another slap in the face from them to their PC community. I mean, people buy PCs to play games on them, and most of them use Windows. There's people out there who do use Linux and Mac, but you can look at the statistics as mostly Windows.
So weird too how when stuff like this is announced by different people, the automatic reaction from people based off of their track record, how that works. Because I'm acknowledging right now that as soon as you said anything, this became negative for me based off Microsoft, and that sucks. It's an unfair bias, and I wish I didn't feel that way. I mean, if Sony was coming out with this,
but is it an unfair bias with a track record? I don't think it's unfair.
I think it's unfair only in the sense that instantly I draw a negative conclusion without information.
Yeah.
I do think it is valid based off of what we know of the company, but they could be doing something just really awesome. Okay. We don't know. But I was just going to say that, like, if Sony popped down, they're like, we're making all of our games run way better and no extra charge to you, all this stuff, we'd all be like, this is awesome. Sony's awesome. So, I mean, like, it's just something to kind of notice. It's really interesting. Branding and who's making what matters with what they do. And I would love Microsoft to release this and not be exclusive to the store and, prove me wrong, prove us wrong.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
It'd only benefit everybody, including themselves. So.
Yeah. I don't want to just be negative as soon as like Microsoft's doing something. I'm like, well, what are they trying to get out of me? Like,
that public image is there though. They created that public image. So.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on Microsoft trying to control our lives and spy on everything that we do?
Stop forcing me to update.
Dig yourself out of a hole. Make us like you again. I mean, I got a couple other companies in that list. Comcast.
The only reason I use Windows is because I don't know how to use Linux.
Yeah. Plus compatibility. Almost everything works for Windows.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I use Windows. Compatibility.
Yeah. Even though Linux runs most things now, there's workarounds. Regardless of that. And support your Xbox part of the company and get more games coming out, because I'm really happy with the games that have been popped out for the Xbox One recently. So keep that up. I think it's going to do it for this episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty Loot Gaming. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. We have so many episodes. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, Tasty Loot Gaming. Check us out on Twitch, Sleep Division. And as always, thank you for watching, guys. We have a full week of content coming out. We got a review for keyboards and mouses and stuff like that. We got a video for Forza 3 Horizon, Blizzard Mountain coming out, I think, Thursday. And then, of course, we have the Tasty Cast, episode 20, coming out Friday. So, a bunch of stuff coming out this week. Stay tuned for that. But until then, my name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
Have a great week, guys, and take it easy.
Can't keep my hands to myself.